Thank you for tuning in to Nerdy-Nawg-Dog Productions. If you are attempting to do your math homework for this evening, have no fear. This is just an introduction to basic algebraic equations. Recalling what we discussed in class today, if you are attempting at number 10, which says 3d plus 5 equals 17, remember we are going to use inverse operations to solve for this problem. So, when I look at this side of the equation, if I'm taking into account that all things need to remain equal, I can see that 17 doesn't have any operations. It's going to stay in place for the moment. However, on this side we have 3d, which is the same as d plus d plus d, or 3 times d, and therefore we have the operation of multiplication happening here. Okay, we also have plus 5. In algebra, we always want to look for like terms, and in this case, we have letter D. Remember that 3 is just a coefficient. It doesn't really exist. It's just telling us that there are 3 D's, and on this side, we have number 5. Number 5 is like to number 17. They are both numbers. We can operate with them. And in this case, we want to use inverse operations to get the numbers on one side of the equation and the variable on the opposite end. So in this case, I can use inverse operation. Instead of plus 5, I'm going to say minus 5 and subtract that 5. We already have discussed that this will then cancel out one another. If I'm doing it on this side of the equation, I also have to perform the same operation on the other side. So I'm going to say minus 5 over here. Now in algebra, we always rewrite our problem over and over and over again. Okay? So now, as mentioned, the plus 5 minus 5 cancels out. It's no longer in the scene. And when I go to rewrite my equation, I'm going to have 3d, or 3 times letter d, as the variable. This has canceled out, equals, and then I solve for the equation over here. So 17 minus 5 gives me 12. Okay, now I have 3d equals 12. Think back to your fact family, your houses, number bonds. We've discussed this in class. There's no operation on this side. There is an operation here. It's multiplication, right? 3 times something is going to equal 12. So again, if we think about those number bonds, if I had 12 in a number bond, I would be saying that 3 times something over here will equal 12. I can always use the inverse operation to solve, and that would be 12 divided by 3 is going to give me the solution to this question mark. So when I come back down to my equation to show it algebraically, I would use the inverse operation. Instead of the multiplication that's going on here, I'm going to divide 3d by 3. But if I do it on this side, I also have to do it on this side. Divide it by 3. Now, right off the bat, I can say, oh, lo and behold, the 3's will cancel out. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. We don't write 1d, it's just d. So I rewrite my problem again. In algebra, we rewrite. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Therefore, I know that my variable has now been isolated. It is on one side of the equal sign with the value on the other. And if I were to go back in and plug in that value of d equals 4, I could rewrite my problem. Here's my original equation. So I could rewrite it as 3 times 4 plus 5 equals 17. And if we solve for that, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 5 more, 17. Okay, so I really want you to think about these in terms of like your fact family houses. Or, as mentioned, if you were still in 2nd grade, you would be doing number bonds or fact families. So it all kind of works together, but the real puzzle is solving for this variable. A lot of fun, I promise. And this is just the beginning. You will get more algebra in middle school. Thank you for tuning in to Nerdy-Nawg-Dog Productions.